I wake up early morning, 6, 7 a.m. That time normally I used to go gym, but
Right.
uh,
Okay. Earlier.
but but
Uh,
now for that time that I was preparing, I replaced that time with preparation.
Preparation.
So my gym stopped, and I used that same time to prepare, because
Right.
after it started a little normally, but eventually I did go into that shell where I was a little cut off from the world in terms of not going to traveling or movies. Or I think the biggest takeaway that I have for sentence correction is that if avoid intuition as much as possible.
Hi, good morning, Ujjwal. How are you doing?
But I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, congratulations for
Thank
that GMAT 750. It's the score that Sandeep sir keeps saying that, this is a score that you have to get. How do you feel about the 750 score? Ujjwal, would you be able to tell a little bit about yourself? So, of course, your 750 score is Quant 50 and Verbal 41, right? And so the verbal score is pretty good, 93 percentile. So again, congratulations. So could you just tell me about yourself? How did it all start? When you started, I remember you started in the month of July. You took up the live classes with Sandeep. So just talk about your background and tell how did it all start for you?
Sure, sure. So, I basically passed out from IIT Ropar in 2021. And ever since then, I've been working in Bangalore in product management field, and I've been enjoying this field. But yeah, at the back of my head, I did always have the plan to go abroad and go global, explore, the world. That idea was there in the back of my head, and uh, and around May time, I think I reached the point where I was like that, okay, this is a good time to start
Right.
uh, prepping for it. So I knew from my basic research that GMAT is something that I had to go through. Then I researched about it, and researched and asked a few friends. So in my own company manager only, a friend of his from IIT Bombay, he also had taken coaching from top 1%, and I think he also had a 750 score.
Oh, wow. Right.
So yeah, so I explored then top 1%. I took the demo class, and I definitely enjoyed the experience. So I enrolled into it, and around July the classes started. I think 8 July was when it all started. So when the classes started, what I basically did was, so my routine used to be morning. So I am personally, I'm a morning person. I wake up early morning, 6, 7 a.m. That time normally I used to go gym, but
Right.
uh,
Okay. Earlier.
but but
Uh,
now for that time that I was preparing, I replaced that time with preparation.
Preparation.
So my gym stopped, and I used that same time to prepare, because
Very clever.
after work I used to get very sleepy and tired. So I thought I anyways wake up early, so it is a good time to use.
Very smart move, I would say. So,
So
how did this live class transform into your preparation? I'm sure this is what we say, that the discipline is completely controlled by sir. So every week when Sandeep sir would ask you to do the questions, how would you come prepared? Could you, if you remember, it's been about 5-6 months now, but if
yeah.
you recall that time, how would you like to say that?
So yeah, I think from the very start, whatever. So every week we used to get something pre-material to complete before the classes. So I ensured that that is judiciously done. I had my questions ready. I had my doubts ready. Whatever I had. I don't think I missed any particular time where I had not completed the questions. Because I thought that if I'm doing this, it has to be done that full way. You can't do it half-heartedly. You
Yeah.
won't get there. So, and he kept reinforcing that idea. I remember one class where most of the students had not done some questions, and he wrote a very long email around it. But that is something that was very motivating to me. I mean, what motivated me was that this kind of investment someone is doing for you. Like, no, normally there are coachings everywhere, people teach, but that kind of investment the person is taking into you, that okay, why are you not doing
Right.
that much investment? So I think I really liked it. So I did follow that, whatever kept coming up in the study plan, the questions, the recorded classes. So I kept doing that, and I think that went well, and that went well. I think the material was really, really helpful. Even there, other than the classes, also the material that the written material that was there, they were definitely very helpful. Most of my concepts, you can say, were cleared before the class only. Class used to be largely a doubt discussion for me.
So when you initially started between the quant and the verbal, because that were the two topics in your classic edition, right? So what seemed to be the most difficult area for you, and then how did you overcome? So let's start with maybe quant, problem solving and data sufficiency. So how were you before you joined top 1%, and after while you were preparing for the GMAT? If there were any notions of, okay, if you were already good, or were there some points that
Quant, I would say, so kids, because I have a IIT coaching background, I think that really makes things easy. I think it's not just me, any IITian can relate to that. The kind of maths that you have already gone through. So that the quant then here it feels easier to grasp. So I think quant is from the start only. I didn't face much issues. But yeah, I did keep practicing nonetheless because you need to still build the muscle memory.
yeah.
So quant was something I didn't find a struggle in. My struggle was definitely verbal,
Purple.
and that is
Now, any specific strategy or the method in RCCR that kind of stood out for you? As you know, Sandeep sir starts the class with the verbal section, and more so with the subject that is very crucial, reading comprehension. So, any topic or KTW session that kind of enhanced your preparation, if you can recall?
so in the starting, as I attended a few KTW sessions
Right.
around American Revolution. Those the initial topics that were taught, they were really interesting. Yeah, those topics are interesting on their own also. Even if you are not preparing.
True.
So I did attend them, and then once I started RC, I think what challenge I was facing eventually that I realized around RC was that I'm able to grasp the comprehensions, but I'm definitely falling short on time. So
Right.
that was something I used to face, and I told the team about it. That okay, I can grasp the RCs, but I'm not able to do it in a good enough time. It's too late by then.
Right.
So then that's when they suggested that since you've already done some of the material, why don't you pick up some of our LSAT material?
That's that content. Okay.
So because that is good for habit building.
Right.
So that's when I started picking him, and definitely, and that's when the difference actually started to occur. So that is a strategy change that I applied, which they recommended, because up until then, LSATs was not something they had recommended till now. It was all their material that I was following 700, 800 questions. But after that, they think for habit building, LSATs are great. You just start doing them and start analyzing more rather than less questions, but analyze them very deeply. So I think those two strategy changes were definitely some score improvers for me in
So
our.
what would you say in terms of the percentage? Where were you in RC, and what kind of a jump that you saw in the final?
I can say in terms of now accuracy, I guess. So if there are 36 questions, you can say I was getting 23 sort of correct initially, all combined.
But
And
without time, right? Like timed or
no, this
untimed?
is time. This is time.
Time.
This is time.
Okay.
And eventually I was able to hit around 29, 30.
Right.
So that is the jump that I saw.
Right.
Even in sentence correction, I think the biggest takeaway that I have for sentence correction is that if avoid intuition as much as possible. So that was my biggest takeaway. If you really follow the logic that they have taught you, that they have taught in the material, it's almost as good as maths. If you stick to the logic and don't go for the feel thing that okay, it feels right, the sentence feels right, then you can get most of them right. So I
Okay.
think that was my takeaway, where I improved on sentence correction.
So what about the critical reasoning?
So
Was it? I'm here safely to probably assume that because quant was easier for you, with CR came in easy, came in handy, or was it in that case?
CR was I can say parallel to RC, I'll say. So I'll tell you how the journey went. It went to a different direction. The Initially I struggled a lot with SC specifically. I was very struggling with it. I was like, I thought I'm not able to do it. This is very and it used to irritate me.
Right.
That why is grammar being tested? It used to irritate me like that. But yeah, eventually when I made peace with it, oh, okay, no, there are a set of rules, and if you follow them by the heart, then you can guess most of them correct. Then eventually it things balanced out, and RC and CR were similar for me on the levels of accuracy. So I took and end of the day, CR is just a shorter paragraph with some
But you know,
conclusion and some argument. It's so it felt similar to RC. So I would say I would keep it at the same, and I treated it the same way.
right.
Eventually, I tried to shorten my time. So I think time was the issue with RC and CR, and this logics was the issue with sentence correction for me.
Okay. Straight on the test day, this is, did you find anything very odd, or you found something that was, something that you never saw before? But on the test day, were there any questions that you felt like, oh, well, I never heard about this?
So no, I don't think it ever happened that any question seemed unfamiliar. I had gone almost lot of the stuff which top 1% had given across their daily assignments, their 700, 800 questions, some of LSATs. So I'd gone through most of the material that they had to offer, part in bits. So I don't think any of it felt new. I judiciously maintained error log. I used to do it randomly. Sometimes I'd vote, sometimes because it would be a very time-consuming process. But okay, no issue. That we'll do less questions, but we'll definitely maintain an error log. We'll even go through the questions that I did right. That is something I didn't used to do in the first attempt. I wouldn't look at the questions that I did right also.
See,
So
this,
even in the
this is where we say that, when you see that questions getting right or wrong, the moment you see getting right, too many greens, right? The confidence builds up right there, right? 100%. Yeah.
So I started looking, even analyzing the right questions. Used to look at the questions where I got it right, but I took too much time. So
Right.
that is some approach changes that happened in the, so that's why they paid off. So I think around,
So the materials played a good role. How about the faculty and the mock test portal? How did you leverage on both of them, and what do you have
so
to say
I
about it?
think eventually in my 6 months, I think I pretty much used all of the,
Mocks?
I think mostly, yeah, I think
90,
2022.
95 plus tests were there.
No, I wouldn't say the sectionals, but
Section.
mocks I eventually ended up using all of them
Right.
because I had already used some 10, 15 before, and then eventually for the remaining bit of preparation.
Definitely helped you at the end of the day.
Definitely, definitely. I think verbal sectionals were also really good because I obviously told I struggled with timing. So that was a good, you just sit in the morning fresh 65 minutes of run. So that's a very good muscle test. So verbal sectionals was something I used a lot. After every 3 or 4 days, I used to do some quant also. So doing for some quant, for quant in the second prep, I didn't prepare much. I only used to just go ahead and give some sectional test.
Cool.
So
That's
just
yeah,
to just to
ideally.
just maintain that muscle memory.
Right, right, right. So, you said you spoke to Nihal in terms of doubts, strategies, especially. In terms of doubts, how many questions you used to often get? How do you what do you have to say about how it was getting resolved? What do you have to say about the support, in both in terms of academic doubts and questions that you had, and in terms of the strategies that you got to discuss with the
I
faculty?
think I think if you check in your email, right, I think I'll have the most number of emails that I've sent. I've sent too many emails by this point. My whole email is filled with the sent section is filled with top 1%, and they were very responsive. Like I think I used to get response largely in 3, 4 hours max, and we could have discussions. So email was very responsive. I used to ask everything and anything. Any question I filled out, I used to just quickly screenshot, quickly email, then send. So that was one really great thing. Uh, Specifically with comes to Nihal, then he guided me on the strategy bit. Uh, when he said that, okay, I explained my entire situation to him, my entire preparation to him. So then he suggested that, okay, for verbal, for RC, you can start following LSATs, and just to keep and show that the quant score stays 50, 51, you can just do some additional questions I can share with you. So that happened. So on the start, and then I used to tell him that, okay, now I'm getting it a little bit under control. I think I'm improving. So, and then he would regress me on that. That okay, still keep focus on the analysis more. That's what he I think mentioned from the start only, that in this second prep you have to focus on the analysis more. this incremental improvement will happen through analysis only. That's what I think the biggest takeaway from that was.
Right, super. So here's, after speaking to you for a few minutes now, I know that you have done exactly what Sir has said and has given, and you've been that ideal student that, we want you to follow this particular protocol, do this bit. Now, and pretty much this is the same course that is given to all students, right? So that doesn't change. The kind of support is also doesn't change. And we expect so many questions coming through from a student, and we are okay with it. Now the biggest thing that I want to ask, this is my favorite part, because this is very very like this part of it is completely you, which is you already mentioned that you are a morning person. So what are these habits that you did during your GMAT preparation that kind of helped you stick and, more importantly, be consistent in your preparation? So, what are the
So
few things that you would say, which is very exclusive to you?
I think something very exclusive to me is that so I've been 2 years in IIT coaching. I've been grilled there a lot. That was 2 years.
Right.
Uh, and there also I used to study in the morning. I was a morning person. Used to wake up very early, 4 5 a.m. And used to go 3 4 hours in one sitting. So that's already been built, and that was a time when I was socially cut off from the world.
Right.
So no outings, no Instagram,
No
Facebook.
media, social medias, yeah.
So yeah, no going to the latest movie. So stuff like that. And you can see I already gave it on 3rd January, so 31st everyone was celebrating. So I think what I did during this GMAT time also, I went into that shell again.
Right.
I knew that is how it had to be done. It started a little normally, but eventually I did go into that shell where I was a little cut off from the world in terms of not going to traveling or movies or I did cut off myself a little, and I think every day I did study, whether it is a weekday or a weekend. So I did study, and obviously there are anyway. There are office parties that happen that okay they come they stay for the next night and they used to go away. So I think that is something specific to me that I
Right.
put myself in that shell for some time and I said I'll get out of it, but right now this deserves this. So
Right.
I need to follow that. So and discipline is something that already came from that coaching time.
Up that
So
time. Yeah.
that's why it was not difficult this time to adapt to it.
Right, because this is something that even in KTW and in any other time, when you hear Sandeep sir, he talks about it. You need to cut off. मतलब ये कहाँ पे लेके जाएगा आपको,
Yep, yep.
and he keeps saying that, and you are a big example of following that rule. So this is such a good thing that you shared. So glad that you could share this with me today. Thank you so much. Now, one last thing that if anybody's going to be watching here, based on your experience, what is that one thing that you would like students to do and one thing that you do not want to? The do's and the don'ts. If you have a list, most welcome to share it with us.
I think my list would be pretty simple. Do's is just stay consistent. Stay consistent. If you're sitting, I would say when you're sitting in the morning or in the night, whenever you study, uh, the world won't end if you keep your phone away for 2 3 hours and invest yourself into quality question problem solving.
True.
The world won't go away, but whatever you're doing right now, this can affect your,
Change
the
your
whole life. It can change your whole the direction of the life you take. So that is one do that I would say. Just stay consistent and stay attentive during those go through hours. Just judiciously give yourself that time. Even if there will be some days where you might not feel like studying, just even if that is just take that day maybe reduce your hours a little, but do that. Ensure that you did it even that day. So consistency would I would say that is my do. Okay, don't would be that during that time, right? There and because GMAT is an exam where working people are mostly largely giving, so you have a social life around, and there are people around. There will always be there will be some party at the weekend. There will be some movie coming up. Some of your friends might be going to some trips. So those things will keep coming up. But I don't think if 4 5 months, if you can, keep yourself away from them, I think that's something you can do if you're given what you're aiming. That's something that's going to decide your whole life. And after you've done it, go enjoy whatever you want to. But yeah, during that time, do avoid that. because it will keep you on the track. You know where you're invested. So don't give into those distractions, I'd say.
So what next for you? Where are you planning to apply to, and what are you looking at 2025, or are you planning, have you
So
already
I have
applied schools?
right now 2.5 years of work ex, and yeah, given how much whatever my research came up with was, I knew that 4 5 years of work is something most people have in top M7 schools. So I had it from the start that if I'm going abroad, I'm not settling for less. I want to go to some top college.
Yes.
So that is why I think in from the starting, only from the prep also, I had that I won't settle for a score that is below 750. Anything above 750 and equal and above is okay, but not below that. Uh, so yeah, I think I'm aiming for 2025 admits. I'll be definitely trying the M7 schools, and let's see where it goes from there.
We're just going to be, I'll be waiting for you to, hear from whoever you're working with, maybe all 3 right now you're considering, but anybody else as well. But I'd be very happy if you share the admits and on your
For sure.
LinkedIn. Yeah, but then when you shared that score with Anushri at the time, when we were all extremely happy and proud, Sandeep sir is right now taking another seminar, but he conveyed, big wishes and big congratulations to you, and hope good things turn out, especially with regard to the admit. And that's why, you were here with him, hoping that, this score can help you even convert with a great profile, of course, and work on your application as well. Any
Mhm.
message for him right now, you would say, that I
No, I
could take
think,
back to him?
yeah, I think whatever he's doing, he's definitely doing it right. I
Right.
would say whatever, and I think this is something I would just one moment that I will share with him that uh, I've attended coaching, I've seen people teaching. I think the difference between him is very the amount of investment he personally has into students. That is crazy. Like he gets angry when people don't do their work. I've never seen that level of investment from someone who's already a founder of a proper coaching, who has tons of things to do.
Right.
That level of investment. So I think that's really admirable. That is something I value about him.
Right, because that's where he's at the core a teacher,
Yeah,
and if you are learning directly from him, he'd be like, I can't stand to see you not prepared, because then how else what I will teach you, how else can I tell you whatever I have
definitely.
to tell, right, or teach you the
I think
way.
that is something I don't think I've seen in most teachers. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So amazing. Thank you so much, Ujjwal, for joining in today. And I'm wishing you all the best. We'll stay
Mm.
connected on LinkedIn so that I see some progress, and really hoping that a big, big chapter opens up for you. Wishing you all the very best from top 1%, and hoping that the admit is right around the corner, the big admits. Yeah. Congratulations
Hopefully.
once again.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.